Holy shit, snow, what a week it's been.
Yes, it has, MJ.
Yes, but it is Labor Day.
Woo!
And,
Shout out to all the workers out there. I hope you get the day off.
Yeah,
I hope not everyone's going to get the day off because, stores are open and whatnot. But
well, tire stores aren't.
Oh, correct. Yes. You need
that would be part of the story.
Somebody had a blowout.
Yeah, come Monday, we lost Jimmy Buffett over the weekend.
Yeah.
And I've seen Jimmy a few times, probably like a half dozen times over the years.
Oh, really?
And yeah, his concerts are really fun.
Yeah, I've always heard that. Like, don't they do like silly stuff?
Yeah,
like,
people dress up, and
they bring shakers of salt and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And dress up in their island clothes.
Oh, okay.
And dress up like the cheeseburger in paradise.
Okay.
I had on Labor Day weekend and had like that song "Come Monday," Headed to San Francisco for the Labor Day weekend show. I had skin cancer, and that's kind of just ironic by someone who, when he wasn't performing, he would just be the ultimate, out in the sun kind of guy.
Yeah. So
wear your sunscreen, people. And so, went to see Metallica over the weekend.
Oh, okay. How was that?
Driving down, there was like a monsoon.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It did rain on Friday. Did you drive on Friday?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and when I got there, I've seen other shows at State Farm Stadium before, but we were kind of singing the upper level. And it sounded like shit up there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like they didn't have the balance right of the speakers. And it was all reverbing and stuff like that. And so the concert wasn't sold out. I could see that there was other empty seats around the stadium.
Isn't that odd for Metallica?
Well, I mean, it is a stadium.
Oh.
And they perform in the middle, so you're able to sell more seats because you can sell out all the way around.
Oh, okay.
And so I went to guest service and said, hey, you can't really hear what the singer is saying. And this was like right before Metallica came on. And can you just move our seats? And I was like, I'll pay the price difference. And they were like, no. I was like, it's kind of shitty.
Then I will give you a bad review.
No, not necessarily, but
I will yelp your ass.
But then they had to end the concert early because the singer James Hetfield was losing his voice. And then, so we leave the show, and like they didn't announce that they were stopping the show early, So I was like, they still have a couple songs left to play. I'm thinking in my head because I looked at the set list.
Oh, okay.
And so I waited. I kind of waited too long because by the time I got back to my car, traffic was so bad, it took 2.5 hours to go 14 miles to the hotel.
Wow.
And you know how usually when you're in traffic situations, you do the zipper effect, like you let one person in.
Yeah.
And then you go, and then you let somebody in. Well, they weren't doing that, I guess, because people were getting impatient for, waiting for so long. But you know how when you let somebody in, you usually give the little courtesy wave?
Uh-huh.
They weren't waving.
People are just dicks now. I mean, I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, and then when it comes up to the next, inlet to let somebody else go, they wouldn't let the next person in. And so then again, I was like, I was the one constantly letting somebody in.
Uh-huh.
And a couple of them waved, but I was kind of like, wow, just usually Metallica crowds aren't dicks like that. Usually people in Metallica shows are cool.
People don't wave, like, here in town all that much when you let them, like, I say they're coming out of Walmart or whatever. They don't even do it here. They just, like, go, and I'm like, okay, a friendly wave is always nice, but...
Oh, yeah, then, and this also happened
maybe they're too busy. They get too much to raise the hand.
As we were leaving too, my kid's glasses fall apart, like the lens popped out.
Oh.
And I'm trying to put it back in, but I can't put the lens in. So my kid was like having to hold on to me because he's like half blind the whole time walking back to the car. And then stuck in traffic, and I finally get to the hotel room, and I open up the door. I get into the room, and the TV's blaring. The AC's turned down to 60 degrees, so it's freezing cold in there. TV's blaring, and there's no remote to shut the TV off. It's one of those TVs that doesn't have the buttons, Did
you have to just unplug it?
Yeah, I had to unplug it from the wall.
Where did you stay?
It was Extended Suites.
Oh, God.
I thought...
That's kind of odd that they wouldn't have a remote for a TV.
Yeah. So, again, it's now 1 o'clock something in the morning, and all right, just deal with this. And then because of the monsoon, I had friends going down there for the show, too. So next day, we were supposed to go to their hotel and just hang out by the pool for the afternoon. Well, because of the monsoon, their pool was closed on it because of all the flooding,
flooded, and a bunch of dirt in there.
It was the same way at the pool at my hotel too. It looks this disgusting green color. So I'm like, well, there goes the pool plans for today. But whatever, just chill in the room, ordering pizza and whatever. And then in the afternoon, I get the notification that because Metallica's playing 2 nights. They play on a Friday night, they play on a Sunday night with Saturday off in between.
Oh, okay.
So I get the notification on Saturday afternoon that the Sunday night show is postponed until next weekend because James has COVID.
So are you going to be able to go to the next one?
Yeah, I'll go.
Okay.
But, at that point, I was kind of just like, why don't we just... The room was already paid for, but I was kind of just like, should just go home. This weekend has been kind of a bust. So Sunday morning, we wake up and, I'll just get home, shake it off. And I'm coming back, and people who don't know, the road between Kingman and Phoenix is just kind of this long straight. There's nothing there except a couple of small towns, Wickup and Wickenburg. Well, right before Iraq, nothing, Arizona. Yes, that's a place. Nothing. I have a blowout going 70 miles an hour. And luckily, I felt it. Like I'm like going, something doesn't feel right, and I just hit the brakes at the right time, and the car just did the fishtail thing. I pulled over the side of the road. So now, luckily, it wasn't that hot out because I have to get down on the pavement in shorts and change a tire while there's traffic whizzing by behind me, going 80 miles an hour, and they can see I've got my flashers on, but they don't change lanes. And you can feel the wind coming off the car as it rushes behind you. Yeah,
people just don't care. They just don't give a shit about other people.
So that just leads to...
and technically, so let's talk about the rules of the road. The rules of the road are you are supposed to get over if you can. If there's 2 people in the lane, obviously you wouldn't be able to get over.
Yeah.
But you're supposed to if you can. And I've had it happen to me where there is literally no one in that left lane, and they just will stay in that right lane. They do not care.
Yeah. So, and my kids, he has Asperger's, and he was kind of just worried, and I wasn't, I suppose I'd be cursing and stuff, like if he wasn't in the car, but I'm like, this is just the situation you're in. You just have to deal with it, And he was more panicked. I always felt more bad for him because you could tell he was panicked, seeing that I'm out there changing. These cars are whizzing by me, know. So then my spare is low on air. And I'm about maybe 25 miles from Wickup. I'm like, well, I'll just fill it up when I get to Wickiup. And I pull into the first gas station. There's a truck parked diagonally across 3 parking spaces, blocking the parking space you pull in to get air. Like, just pull into a fucking parking space, asshole. So
dicks.
Yeah, so I go up to the next gas station. Their air was working. I mean, it turns on, but the gun, that you squeeze the little handle, sounded like it was working, but it wasn't actually putting air through it.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like, all right, let me circle back to a previous gas station. I pull up to that one. That one turns on, but some dickhead cut the hose.
God damn.
And they took the gun to fill the air.
Oh, so they could have it for their...
Who knows? It's probably some tweaker selling metal or something like that.
Right.
Or just some kid being a dick and just cut the line and threw it.
Right.
Why would you do that in the middle of nowhere?
They probably got mad at the gas station or something. I'm not saying it's an excuse, but it's like you got to think like a dickhead, right?
Yep. So then I go back to the original one and the truck had moved. So I pull up the thing. It's one of the ones where you insert your card. So I insert the card. It acknowledges I've inserted the card, but the thing to select the air isn't working.
God damn.
So I go inside and say, hey, your air isn't working out there. And they're like, oh, well, that's a third party that put that in there. We have nothing to do with that. I'm like, it's on your property.
Yeah, they don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I've had that happen before here at one of the gas stations where they're like, we don't own that air machine, so that's your problem. You have to call the number. You have to call the number on the thing. I'm like, you don't want the air to work on your property? You might as well just take it out then. Why didn't you call? If you already knew that it was broken?
Yeah.
Okay.
So then I have to drive probably about another 40 miles to the petrol on I-40 before I could get to an air. So again, my kid doesn't really know what's going on other than he can see that I'm kind of frustrated, you know. But in my head, I'm like going, oh, fuck, that tire's low. I hope it makes it.
Just praying the whole time.
Yeah.
Jesus, you take the wheel.
Yeah, Jesus, take the wheel. Yeah, so that was my day.
Wow, what an adventure.
Yeah. But what can you do? And then the tires are all closed. The tire stores are all closed today because it's Labor Day.
Right.
Oh, fuck me.
There's tomorrow.
And fucking, the thing about COVID, though, get back to James Hetfield. So I'm just reading the comments, about, hey, people are going to be like, get well, James. And it gets to the same old, oh, just the flu.
Okay, well, they wouldn't want to be out there on stage playing if they had the flu either.
Yeah, he'd lose his voice either way.
Makes your body all achy and everything. It pretty much puts you down.
Yeah.
I mean, unless there's a ton of assholes out there going to work with the flu and getting all the other employees sick. I guess so, right?
Yeah. I don't know. Just fucked up. And it just brought back all the memories of COVID and how, nobody can get along. Mm-hmm. And just, it's kind of just infuriating because, we'll get to this in a minute. We had a comment from a listener that says that we lie on this podcast.
We're liars.
Yeah. Look, we don't claim to know everything, okay? And this goes back to the mask thing.
Right.
I don't know scientifically if the masks prevented COVID or not, okay? I do not know 100% either way. What I do know is during COVID, when I wore a mask for that year, I did not get sick once that entire time.
Right, and weren't there numbers that I'll probably get in trouble for saying this too, but weren't there numbers that showed that during COVID, because everyone was wearing masks, the flu numbers were extremely low. My dad always talks to me about this, Now, my dad could be wrong and not be researching on the internet, but he's always said, he goes, that, well, the numbers are, he watches a lot of news, though, too. But then again, and does not watch Fox News. I think he prefers CNN. So I don't know how many people trust that, I'm just throwing it out there, that the flu numbers, it is a fact that they were down during COVID.
Right. And, I saw...
The flu numbers were down.
I saw other people have been posting lately, because COVID numbers are kind of creeping back up there again, that, oh, thank God that the stores had those arrows, going one way, going down the aisle. And during the pandemic, why was that a bad thing to try to keep people a little bit socially distanced? Now, again, I don't know the numbers scientifically. I don't know if it really cut anything down, but it was an attempt to try to mitigate this. And it's undeniable that COVID has killed a lot of people and continues to do so.
I mean, it's less now.
Yeah,
people
it's less.
Killing. We should say that it is killing less people. It is still killing people. We know people who died from it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, so, but then again, here's my feeling on it too, though, and I'm probably going to sound like a bitch saying this, but it's like, I'm not going to argue with people over wearing masks. And I think I've said it before on this podcast more than once that, yeah, okay, you want to roll with the your body, your choice. I hope you see it the same when it actually comes to what that phrase was started for, which is women's right to choose over their own bodies, bodily autonomy. I hope you use it for them too. But yes, you're right. If you don't want to wear the masks, fine. Don't wear one. I'm not wearing one. I don't wear one anymore. So, but I'm not going to sit there. I've still seen people wearing them. When I've traveled, there are some people who are still wearing them on flights and whatnot. I don't make it a point to ruin their day for wearing it. I don't want to be a jackass and go up to them and be like, hey, dummy, what are you wearing a fucking mask for? Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Why? Just leave. It's possible to go through your day and not say things to people. You don't have to comment on every fucking thing.
Yeah,
you can do that.
And back when certain businesses had restrictions that you had to wear the mask, well, the company is fully within their rights for them to say, if you want to be in our establishment, this is what you have to do to be in it. It's perfectly within those companies' rights. It's not taking away your rights to not wear a mask. You don't want to wear a mask. But the company has decided...
And it's privately owned. If they're privately owned companies, what the fuck? It's kind of like if somebody came to my house, came to your house, and they had shit all over their shoes, and you told them you're taking the shoes off before you come in my house, or you're not coming in.
Yeah. Well,
what's wrong with that?
Well, I have the right to wear my shoes.
I know. Oh, yeah. Is that what we're doing now? I have the right to tell you to get the fuck out of my house. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't want you in here.
Yeah, and it's the same thing with, social media sites. They're not taking away your First Amendment rights when they say you cannot post this on our site. It's not really taking away your rights. It's a privately owned company, and they don't want you spreading what they perceive to be misinformation.
Right.
Now, do they get the misinformation wrong? When Facebook said that there was nothing to the Hunter Biden laptop story, so they took down the post that had to do with Hunter Biden's laptop.
Uh-huh.
Well, they were sort of wrong about that. Now, there was some truth to the Hunter Biden laptop thing, Now, if you look into that story about Hunter Biden's laptop, it looks like the laptop did have some stuff on it, but it looks like a third party had planted that stuff onto the laptop. Mm-hmm. Okay, I mean, that's again, I guess we have to be really careful because we're not experts on all this, allegedly, that this is what's going on. This is what the articles that I have read, not from just CNN, just
on the internet.
Yes, on the internet from multiple different sources. Mm-hmm. That is what is being reported.
Right.
And Rudy Giuliani allegedly had something to do with it.
Speaking of multiple, different sources and reading articles and whatnot, getting back to our disapproving comment, I just wanted to say, I have read a few different articles, and I recently just read one yet again to find out some numbers for if you don't like what we're saying, and that's fine. The best thing I could suggest is to not listen.
Right.
And we are far outnumbered, okay? There are, according to this article that I found on the internet, according to this article, there are like over 1,500 conservative radio shows out there. And who knows how many podcasts, but I doubt 1 million freaking liberal podcasts popped up compared to maybe around 100 left-leaning, progressive, liberal radio stations. Okay, those are the numbers. So we are far outnumbered. And this article also happens to say the reason why that is because these people who own the people with money who own a lot of the radio stations, one of them specifically said, I'm not going to put anyone on the air who is going to raise my taxes. And the left preaches about raising taxes on the rich. Okay? So, again, we will probably always be outnumbered. You will probably always be able to find more conservative outlets than you. I mean, and speaking of free radio, on AM, what do you think's on AM?
Yeah, well, it's
the talk radio. Yeah. What do you think that is?
Yeah.
Pretty much all conservative.
Yeah.
There are some cities, check this out. One more quick point I want to make. There are some cities that, couple of fun percentage facts here. Okay, that I read from an article on the internet. 100% of news talk radio in Dallas, Houston, and Philadelphia is conservative. Okay? Another fun fact. What do you think the percentage is for news talk radio in LA and San Francisco that is conservative? What do you think the percentage is?
80.
Oh, all right. See, I would have guessed a lot lower, meaning that they're blue areas. No, it is 69% of the stations in LA and San Francisco are conservative.
I wonder why that is.
So we're still outnumbered, even in the freaking blue areas.
Yeah.
Even in San Francisco is the bluest of the blue. Can't get any bluer, right?
Yeah. So we'll get back to this, but one of the comments, seriously, totally disconnect with reality and beyond redemption. Here's just a little fun fact. When it comes to doing the podcast, you have to come up with like a catchy title on it. Okay, you can't be bland.
We wanted it to be Reality Bites.
Yeah.
To be fair, but that was already taken.
Yeah. So we started this in the time of COVID and stuff like that, and a bunch of fake news. I think this is fake news. So reality redemption is kind of a tongue-in-cheek kind of thing, where we are not experts, okay? We are saying that we are not experts on these subjects. We give our opinions on this. We get stuff wrong. We don't always know the names at the right point. you know? So it's tongue in
We
cheek.
do
We're
also
not.
drink beer during
Yeah.
the show, which we're enjoying one right now that I wanted to mention really quick, and we'll get back to this. We are drinking an blonde ale called Antonio Blonderas
Nice.
from Rickety Cricket.
All right.
The
Cricket
ones
Brewing
that
Company.
we got last time. Okay, continue. Because I
Okay.
have some more numbers too.
Yeah. Oh,
that I
all
found
right. So
interesting.
yeah. So what you're hearing, and it's the same thing as what you're hearing on other podcasts too. You're just hearing our opinions. It's not the be all end all facts.
Yeah, we're in our name. If you notice, our name is not Reality Redemption News. Like we're not like Fox News throwing the news in there when it's all opinion, anyways.
Yeah.
You know, laced with maybe some facts.
Yeah.
You know, we podcasts typically are opinion.
Yeah.
In nature, anyways. Look at Joe Rogan's. Joe Rogan's are opinions.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure he has facts in there too.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't really listen to him.
He's a smart guy.
Yeah, I listen to him every once in a while. I'll give you that. But like for example, he likes to have RFK Jr. on there a lot, right? So I just listened to. Now it wasn't Joe Rogan's show, but I listened to. I have one of my coworkers really likes RFK Jr. and sent me a clip to listen to, and RFK Jr. is bringing up the fact that he's trying to claim that Hank Aaron most likely or possibly died from getting the vaccine, which is, when I went and looked it up on the internet, it said that Hank Aaron died of natural causes. Now, Hank Aaron was 86 years old when he died, and he died like 17 days after getting the vaccine, and that's why RFK Jr. is suspect that he died from the vaccine, which doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. It's like that I would need to see more proof on that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
if you're going to claim that.
Well, Meatloaf was anti-vax, and he died of COVID.
Right?
I mean,
I didn't hear RFK bring that one up. He won't bring that side up. Okay, really quick for a couple of other numbers under conservative dominance in our media. 257 are the number of news talk stations owned by the top 5 companies. Okay, so the top 5 companies own 257 of that 1,500 alone. All right? The percentages of it is like, if you're doing the conservative percentage to progressive percentage, it's like 91% conservative, 9% progressive or left-leaning, liberal, whatever. I prefer the term progressive too. Another fun fact that I thought I would talk about with this, long ago, and we have discussed this on another podcast, the number 1 radio host in America at one point was actually a left-wing person. It was Alan Bragg. Alan Bragg. I'm getting him mixed up with the whole New York DA thing. Alan Berg. Remember what happened to him?
That was the guy that got shot.
Yeah, the one that they made the movie about.
Yeah.
What was that?
Talk radio.
Talk radio. Okay.
It was not Jeff Goldblum. Reminds me of Jeff Goldblum, but yeah, terrific actor.
And wasn't it like Paul Reiser or something?
No, it wasn't Paul Reiser.
I can't remember either.
Wait.
And then.
Okay, Eric Bogosian.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah, that's who it was, and.
Then after the assassination, guess who became the number 1 talk show host?
I would say Rush Limbaugh.
You are correct. It was Rush Limbaugh. Now that Limbaugh is dead, though, I wonder who the number 1 is now. That I do not know. I should have looked that up. Then here's another fun fact. Okay, Air America rolled out in 2004 to 2010, right? And they were one of the leading progressive news outlets, right? Then they got bought up by Clear Channel, 54 Channel stations across the country. Do you know who owns Clear Channel? Or did? I don't know that he still does. Or who took over?
Rupert Murdoch?
No, took over for them. Mitt Romney took over for them.
Huh.
And then they basically bankrupted Air America.
Well, I mean, that also has to do with ratings. I don't think Air America got the same ratings as, say, the Rush Limbaughs or Sean Hannity's or, those kind of
Well, if
things.
you get bought out, though, by a conservative person, and like I said earlier, if you're out there preaching that you want rich people's taxes raised, do you really think they're going to keep you on the air for that long? They're not going. Probably not. Now, I don't know that for a fact because I didn't look that up on the internet. But
don't you think though part of it is because progressives aren't really obsessed and hate listen. I mean, by hate listening, I mean listening to stuff that keeps you fired up. Like, I want to listen to stuff that relaxes me and not rile me up.
Right. I understand what you're saying, and I have been trying to figure that out for a while, but so I started doing a little bit more digging too. On the internet, I typed in, why do people hate do-gooders so much? And that's part of the problem too. A lot of folks do not like to hear people sticking up for the downtrodden or trying to help them out or whatever, because a big part of it is it makes people feel guilty about their own selves. They look at their own selves because humans are kind of selfish by nature, so you're always thinking, like, anytime you hear something or you're watching something, you're kind of thinking too, how would I fit into this or whatnot? And if that makes you feel bad that you're not doing things, of course you're not going to like do-gooders. I mean, like... Yeah,
and that's why, certain people, like when U2 is, getting on stage and Bono's preaching about whatever, AIDS or whatever it is.
Like, shut up and play the music.
Yeah, shut up and play the music, but...
I didn't come here to listen to your charity work.
But you have no problem with Kid Rock shooting up a case of beer. You're like, yeah, kid.
Because I think maybe it's the chimpanzee DNA that we have in us. It's like 97% chimpanzee DNA. Now, fucking chimpanzees will kill gorillas. And look at the size difference between them. A chimp will kill a fucking gorilla because they're mean. I mean, I don't know. They're like, part of the chimp brain is violent.
Maybe that explains why conservative radio hosts like to fling shit all the time.
Right?
True. And be all angry.
I mean, that's the thing that's like probably the most hurtful lately with the whole try that in a small town mentality and all that is like, why are these folks becoming more and more increasingly violent or talking about violent? I feel like I got to deal with redneck gangbangers now. I mean, I feel like that's what it's coming to, or redneck thugs. I mean, and like I said, I've mentioned this before on the podcast several times. These are the same people who used to bitch it, because they're in my generation, same people, Gen Xers, who we were all like around in the 90s. I was in high school in the 90s. Used to bitch about gangster rap, glorifying violence and whatnot. It's like, you're doing the same thing. You're doing the same thing that you used to bitch about all the time.
Yeah, and hey, I'm not saying hey, Jason Aldean made his money off his song. Good for him. He found his niche. Okay, cool,
Right.
but and then you say, well, the song, well, it's not racist. Well, but you're standing in front of that courthouse where something very bad happened at one time, whether he knew that or not, who knows. And he did use images of the Black Lives Matter protests or riots, we should say, because it did happen.
Well,
But
I think another problem too is I think we have a bunch of people too who have no idea how to put themselves into somebody else's shoes. Their brain just can't do it. Or they simply do not care because they hate other people. I mean, it's sad to sit here and say this too, but they have such a disdain. Maybe I shouldn't use hate. Maybe in some cases it is hate, though. Let's not lie. Okay. Let's not kid ourselves. But for other people that they don't give a shit what other people go through. So they don't care. If you don't care, you're not going to try to think what it might be like for somebody else.
Yeah, and I think that's a general society issue, and maybe not just left or right leaning. I think people genuinely have lost empathy.
Well, like specifically, we were putting out numbers about internet prices, right?
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. I make enough money, I could pay the $185 a month. But why would I? When I don't use that much, I don't use enough internet to justify that. So to me, that's still wasteful. I don't like being wasteful. And why would I do that? You and I both switched over to Verizon. We've mentioned that on the podcast too before because of our disdain for a company who shall not be named. We switched over. We pay $25 a month. And my internet works like a champ.
Well, if you're not a Verizon customer, it's like $50 a month.
Right. We should clarify that. But if you already have their phones...
See, we do know some facts here.
Right. These are facts. I could pull up my bill right now and show it to everyone. But yes, $25 a month. So hopefully that helps people because our listener did send us something from the FCC.gov.
Now, to be fair, he took issue that we did not know, and thank you for sending that to me, by the way.
Yeah.
We did not know what the government subsidy was to lower the cost of internet to families 200% below the poverty line.
200% below the poverty line, and they'll give you $30 off of your monthly bill for internet service. And then if you are a tribal family, you can get up to $75 off a month for your internet.
Yeah, so to clarify, listener, 200% below the poverty line. So if you're 200% above the poverty line, and let's go with the company that we both left, would still be paying almost $100 a month for high-speed internet.
Right.
So if you're 200% below the poverty line, how do you afford that $100?
Right. That's what and then, okay, also to be fair, yes, there is free internet at certain businesses. Like you can go to Starbucks. We see people in Starbucks all the time, right? You've seen them, I've seen them, where they're in there on their laptop writing the next great novel, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So you can go there. Now, if you are a mother, a father, whatever, a parent, and you're working full-time, even if you're working part-time, and your kids are going to school the rest of the hours of the day, when do you have the time to go load up the car and haul their asses to Starbucks or McDonald's or whatever? McDonald's has free Wi-Fi too. To go do this. Now, I can understand if you're like a retired person that has all day, then sure, you have the time to go
Yeah.
Go to those places and get your free internet. Then you can literally live off of paying that'll get you your exercise. Shit, you get out of the house for the day, you get your exercise, go into a place, go into the coffee shop, walk into the coffee shop or community center or whatever, get your exercise in, and you get your free internet. Shit, yeah, you probably should do that where you pay no internet and you do that so you have your exercise going for you too.
So, but we do want to thank the listener for correcting us because we were uninformed
to correct it to our listeners, and hopefully, I hope that some of you are Verizon customers and you do take advantage of the internet, because I'm telling you, MJ, do you have a problem with the Verizon internet?
Once in a great while, during peak hours, it gets a little slow, but no.
Yeah,
not like I used to have.
Mine basically works like a champ. I can watch all the movies I want to watch, all the Netflix I want to watch. I can use my phone. Yeah. That's really all I need it for.
And
I'm not a gamer.
Again, to our listener, and hey, if we got more feedback, maybe we wouldn't be harping on just this one. So give us feedback on our social media. Don't send it to my cell phone, my personal cell phone, while I'm at work. That's why I blocked you, to tell you the truth, because I didn't have time for it while I was at work. But it is. Well, if they're not on social media, then they can't do that, I suppose, because if you don't have a cell phone, because you're afraid that if you have a cell phone, the government's tracking you. Yes, they can, but they can also track your IP address too,
right?
If they wanted to. So, just saying,
Well, yeah, a good example of that is, look at all this stuff that they have uncovered with the whole Hunter Biden, being able to tell
someone else
sending him stuff.
Right, like the alleged corrupt stuff on his laptop was put on it at the time it was supposed to be at the computer repair shop. So it was not in Hunter Biden's possession at that time.
Right.
Just saying. You can. This is just not us making this up. There's articles out there. That's where we get here. So
on the internet.
There's stuff on the internet, and no, you cannot believe everything you see on the internet. But that's the sources where we got this from. So this listener did provide us with the opportunity for redemption, though, because we did redeem ourselves.
Thank you.
See, hence
this is why it's called Reality Redemption.
Yeah, see.
Well, we hope that this cleared up confusion.
I can just imagine that next time he listens to this one, he's going to just be seething.
Let's hope not.
Hey, thank you, though. All right, shit. Fuck, was there anything else? You had the Republican debates, I guess. But...
Oh, misinformation. Like, how you, more along the lines of, how misinformation can be put out there. And this is via Ted Cruz. So recently, Ted Cruz was all up in arms over the new suggestions, recommendations, suggestions, warnings or something, for alcohol consumption. It is now suggested that people limit it to 2 drinks per week because of studies that have been shown that alcohol causes certain types of cancer. Well, Senator Ted Cruz blew a gasket over this and said, "They're not telling me that I can only drink 2 beers. First off, dum-dum, nobody told you that.
Yeah, it's not. They're not policing it.
It is a suggestion, a recommendation. You don't have to follow it, okay? How many people out there actually follow other suggestions, that you shouldn't really eat fast food? There's lines out into the street at all the fast food places. Just ignore it. you ignore that, Ted Cruz.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, even the warning label on alcohol, bottles of beer, pick one up, you know, the warning label about pregnant women should not drink alcohol while pregnant because it can cause birth defects. That is not against the law. Now, you're a huge see you next Tuesday if you're pregnant and you're doing that. But technically, it is not against any law. It is a warning. That is it.
I wonder if Ted Cruz's mother drank while she was pregnant.
I'm starting to think, yeah. That's why he's like, it was fine for me. It'll be fine for you. Cheers to that.
Again, we do not know if she did, but it would make sense. Yeah. Why he's so mad and doesn't want other people out there drinking. Yeah, so, I don't know.
Oh, you know, cheers to that,
Cheers.
right?
Cheers to drinking while pregnant. You get more Victor Ramaswamy's, whatever his name is.
Vivek Ramaswamy. I think Swampy. It's Vivek Ramaswamy, but I think Ramaswamy was the funniest one I've heard so far.
I know.
On that.
I want to get him on the podcast too. He seems like an interesting character.
Right? He could tell us about how he's all pissed off about like the recent good news that we had like with the pharmaceutical companies where their Medicare has, at least the government has passed the thing to allow Medicare to negotiate drug prices, and so they've sent the first 10 drugs through. There will be more that will follow. But like if you're on blood thinners, high blood pressure medication, diabetes medication, like they have been able to now lower the prices.
And these are medications that, not to rag on conservatives all day long, but we sort of are. These are medications that, you know, a lot of people who eat too much fast food, who sit around, don't exercise, and consume way too much fucking conservative news media, just saying, hypothetically, these are medications that will help them, like the diabetes medication.
I know, they're medications that will help
insulin?
Just humans, you know, like, it's so crazy. They're medications that do not care about your political affiliation. They will help you, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we should all be thankful for that.
Yeah, and I don't know, and one on this point, with the, discounts for internet for low-income families, wouldn't that be, although it's a good program, okay, wouldn't that be considered socialism?
Yes, and if it's funded by the taxpayers.
Yeah, and so wouldn't that be one of the things that I think, because Congress wants to cut the budget, I think that would be one of the things that they would want to cut out is subsidies for discounts like that.
Yeah, they would not want to cut out like subsidies for like pharmaceuticals and Amazon and stuff like that. They would not want to cut those subsidies.
Yeah. So that's it. That's the podcast for this week. And get this clear the air. He gave us some subject matter this week to roll with.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, and so
appreciate you.
So it's Labor Day. We'll finish this beer. A toast to the working men and women, and to the unions who make these holidays possible.
Hell yeah!
Okay, because it is because of unions that this stuff happens. And a big shout out to the Teamsters who negotiated with UPS to prevent the strike.
Historic contract.
Yeah. So there. Unions.
Woo.
Something that they're against too. Okay. So
hopefully not all of them.
Yeah,
I don't think all of them are, but to be fair.
To be fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so goodbye for this week, and we will talk to you next week.
Bye, y'all.
It'll be football. We'll give you our football predictions next week.
Bye, y'all.